Let's see. DDR set us up live on YouTube, so it's launch. So thank you for live with us, everybody, if you're on YouTube. And I will be checking in with our YouTube folks periodically as well. If you are on YouTube listening, just know that today I will not be reading comments or anything. We're not quite set up for all of that yet, but feel free to still leave comments and we'll go back and say hi for later on or answer questions that might have gotten answered. And yeah, let's see a minute.
Looks like people are still kind of joining in here.
Yeah, I won't get started quite yet. Let everybody say hi to each other.
Amu, thank you for hosting today.
Of course, I'm happy to host. It's exciting. I'm hope that you guys hope we could have a nice show for you. Got Kyle here. We'll talk a little bit about Kyle in a little bit. I think he said he's knows some of you guys, so we're excited to chat with him. And happy to have you guys here to help me along. This is only number 2 for me, so if I look like an ass, you'll just have to forgive me.
No.
What are you smoking, Tim? Looks like you got a Peterson too, huh?
I do, but I'm sort of just, I have some tobacco in it. I'm pretending to smoke because I had some dental surgery in the form of 2 implants put in, which are going to be finished sometime soon. So I'm told very in no uncertain terms, no smoking until they heal. So I'm going back in a month. I haven't smoked for 2 months, which has just been excruciating for me because I'm surrounded by tobacco and pipes. But I go back in about a month or so, and supposedly they're coming along well. So if it's healed, I can go back to smoking to some extent, and maybe not as much as I was, but any little bit would make me happy. So, no, it's a 302, just your standard 302, which, hey, yeah. I like the great shape, and in it I do have some Paredes ampersand, which I haven't yet tried, but it's in there. But anyway, that's my story.
And the 302 is such a great shape for clenching with your dental work.
Yes, very good.
I would have figured you would have picked the 317 myself, but
yeah, well, maybe, yeah, that's a good idea, Sean. Might be better to pick one of those smaller versions there. But it's all, I keep it in this side of the mouth, and all the stuff, that dental stuff, is going on over here, so it's not that bad. Nice to see you, Ramachandran.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Cigar shop. I'm looking for, maybe you can help me, Tim. I want to start a little group chat here for everybody so I can send some links as we talk to Kyle. Let's see.
Say I was sorry about before.
Did I lose everybody, or can you guys still hear me?
We can still hear you.
No, we still got you.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. I thought maybe I got lost there. All right, well, we got people who are still rolling in, but I think we could probably get started here. That sounds good with everybody. Welcome, everybody, to the Virtual Pipe Club today. I'm really excited to be hosting. For those of you, I think I've seen some new faces pop in here. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amu, and I'm going to be hosting today for DDR. Really excited to have you guys here. We have a very special guest. But before we get started, let's see what everybody's smoking, what everybody's up to. Can start us off here. I am smoking the new Sheridan pipe tobacco. We're going to talk a little bit about it. But I got a nice bowl of First Bowl in there. It's really mild English. It's lovely, lovely smoke. And I got it in my Peterson New Grange spigot. And I will pass the pipe to our wonderful guest. I will pass the pipe to Kyle.
All right. Well, so I'm not smoking at the moment because we got the gardeners in the backyard. Of course, the timing worked out that way. But what I was gonna smoke was some Gawith Kendall Dark in my unstamped Barkley Rex basket pipe, which I love this thing. I think it was a whopping $30 when I was there for, I think, one of the international pipe smoking days. And it has become one of my go-to pipes. I think I smoke every blend I've ever smoked out of this pipe at least once. So it's one of the stories that, you can spend a lot of money on a pipe and love it. You can spend a little money on a pipe and love it. So that's that pipe. So I will pass it to Dimitri. Now that we're talking about, how do I do
Hi,
this?
Kyle. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time. Really
Yeah.
I smoked one of those Berkeley Rex pipes just a couple of days ago. For those who don't know, those pipes were carved by grandfather of current owner of Berkeley Rex back in 1950s, Algerian briar. When they closed one of the locations on 42nd Street, they found in a storeroom a bunch of those pipes, and they put them out for sale. So I got a couple of them, and a bunch of guys from New York Pipe Club bought them. They are great pipes, great smokers. Well, I'm also not smoking today, but I have a couple of pipes here. One I just bought 2 days ago at Barclay Rex when I was there with Eric Stockaby. That's a Nordian pipe. I absolutely love the finish on this pipe. It looks like he applied stain and then sanded it. So it's basically an unfinished pipe, but with a layer of stain applied to it. I'm waiting to see how it's going to color. And I also have my dream pipe, which I bought at Albany Pipe Show, Capital Land Pipe Show.
Wow.
That's Joe Skoda. Well, of course, I don't have to tell you that. You see this pipe, you know right away who made it. And let me pass the pipe to Perry.
Thank you, Dimitri. Your screen says South Africa or something. Are you actually in South Africa?
No, I'm in New York. We use this Zoom for our company meetings. So
Oh, okay.
South Africa, yeah.
Great. Well, I'm smoking Ken Byron's Dark Fired Cherry, mostly because I'm inside right now, and my wife prefers if I'm inside, I smoke an aromatic. So I'm doing that. But anyway, I'm smoking it in a very old Barantini Suprema and bent Dublin. And that's about it for me today. And I'll pass the pipe on to Randall.
Am I muted?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, it's not muted. Not muted.
Not muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Perfect. How are you, sir? Today, what do I got here? I have my old favorite. Well, that's not my old, but it says Reborn Classic, the Danish pipe shop, Danish design. I think they refer to it as the Dan pipe. Tom Elting had a lot to do with it, and it's a may not be an old one, but it's a favorite of mine already. Smokes great. And I have in it some, Prince Albert today. And we'll go through this, and then we'll probably wind up with some Ahab's Comfort from Watch City Cigars. That's a pretty bold one, but in this kind of weather, we've got some severe cold going on. So it should work perfect for that. And let's see. Who else is here? I got no pictures. There we go. How about Sean? Are you there, Sean?
Thank you, Randall. I'm right now smoking some Bengal slices in my Tim Heineck. Great smoking pipe, Tim.
Thank you, Sean.
And because it's a little cold here. Oh, thank you, Tim. Because it's cold here, I'm drinking some Glenmorangie to keep myself a little warm. And I will pass it on to Miguel.
Thank you, Sean. This morning I started with a Tom Elton rusticated poker with bamboo virgin, and I'm for a Virginia blend, and I like smoking small bowls. So the second pipe will be a Dunhill Chestnut Group 3, and I'll be smoking Rat Race Red Rappery on that one. Thanks very much, and I will pass the Virtual Pipe Club to a Ramachandran. Thank you.
Thank you, Miguel. Today I'm smoking my Peterson Sherlock Holmes 2021 Christmas pipe. And in it I'm smoking my favorite McBaron's Old Dark Fight. And once I'm through, then I'll go in for my Group 3 Dunhill, in which I'll be having Old Door Crowns. Now with that, I pass it on to Dave.
Hey guys and gals, it's good to see you guys. Just loading up my first bowl of the day. It's a pipe that I got from the virtual Las Vegas pipe show. A friend of mine, Sergio, who isn't here, took me on a virtual tour of the show, and I stumbled across Janos's table with him, and I had to bring this little poker that he made with a silver spigot mount. It's pretty cool. So, and in that, I'm smoking this year's version from Watch City Cigars of Rougarou, and that's
good blend. Good blend.
I think I'm going to just smoke that a couple of times today. So if I do make it to a second pipe, it's probably going to be a Smoking Barrel Briars pipe from Ryan McCauley. I don't know where my pipe ashtray is. My wife helped me clean up in here, so I'm going to have to search for it, but everyone's seen it before.
Dave,
that's
looks,
where I'm at today.
Dave, it looks kind of cold. Looks kind of cold there. Are you in the garage or something? Or?
Oh yeah, I'm in the garage. The heater's just starting up, but yeah, it's about minus 14 or so
Ooh.
here.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's a nice autumn day in Canada. We're doing good. Like I said to Amu earlier, it's only winter only lasts until May, so we're just about through. So I think I'll pass the pipe on to my brother Dave in LAX, or in LAX. I don't think LAX means LA, so.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I am smoking a pipe also I got in Las Vegas. It's a Jeremiah Sandell, and I'm smoking Balkan Supreme in it. Who's left? I don't see any hands up left, so maybe am I the last one?
Looks like you might be.
Yeah, I'll pass it back to you then, Amu.
All right. Awesome. Well, like I said, thank you guys for everybody for sharing.
I think we just lost Amu.
Oh no.
Amu?
Let's give her. See if we can have a moment.
That went well for a few minutes.
and I will kind of let him introduce himself. I met Kyle at the pipe show this year in Chicago, and then again a couple of weeks ago when he came and visited Arlington. And today we have a special guest. So for the opportunity to bring him on and talk about the work that the UPCA is doing, and yeah, just catch up and see how they're doing over there. So hi Kyle, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thanks for inviting me today. Yeah, so for those who don't know, I'm the president of the United Pipe Clubs of America. And we'll get into the organization and everything, but I figured probably should just start with origin stories, right? Who am I? Do I even smoke a pipe? That sort of thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much the first questions I was going to ask you.
All right. So I've been smoking a pipe for 8 years. I didn't have one of those stories like picked it up from family or anything like that. My interest in it came from actually vintage culture, right? So I like dressing vintage aesthetic. And I happened to be living in Paris as part of my PhD work. And, that's kind of a vintage lover's city. And I remember every day I would walk by the Sorbonne and there was this pipe shop, and I would see in the window and I just thought, I think a pipe might just fit my look, sort of thing. And it was kind of as simple as that, but I didn't have the courage or my French wasn't that good to go into this pipe shop in Paris and buy my first pipe. And so I waited until my time in Paris was over. I moved to the Bay Area. I was doing research at Berkeley Lab, and I went to the Piedmont Tobacconist in Oakland. If anybody's familiar with that shop, it's been around for a long time. It's a great little shop. And the proprietor there, who someone had told me it's now since passed, but he, took the time to teach me how to pack a pipe and gave me the ins and outs, which at the time seemed very special to me. But as the years go by, you realize, Jeff, that's just what we pipe smokers do, right? We take the time for anybody who shows an interest in wanting to smoke a pipe. So he was kind to me. I had a good first experience in the pipe shop. And I went home and proceeded to go through an entire box of matches trying to get this pipe lit. But I still kind of went through it and decided that, I wasn't turned off or anything like that. And I'm going to keep going. And I was kind of putzing around, trying to figure out things on my own. Somehow it never dawned on me to like go on YouTube or anything like that to learn how to smoke a pipe. I was just in the wilderness. And then I moved to New York. I got a postdoc at Columbia. And I one day was like, I bet you there's a pipe club here because it's New York and there's something for everybody. And sure enough, I found the New York City Pipe Club and joined them for their International Pipe Smoking Day competition in, I want to say it was 2018. And that I was hooked. I was like, these are my people. I had such a wonderful experience. Dimitri was actually there for that very event. So Dimitri was one of the first people I was talking to. I think at that time he had some sort of tobacco blend that he was pressing in a cake in a cigar box. And I thought, there is so much more to this world that I don't know about. And I'm hooked.
A whole rabbit hole.
Yeah. And so started attending the New York City Pipe Club meetings. Excellent group of guys. Enjoyed every minute of it. And then, met another guy who lived in Brooklyn. Maybe we would try to do something in Brooklyn, which, was an interesting experience trying to start a pipe club down there. You would think the medicinal aspect is really appealing to people, but there's still like a tobacco hurdle. And, also just finding places to smoke was difficult. So we tried in Brooklyn, and there was scenes on Long Island and Hudson Valley Pipe Club. And I was just collecting pipe clubs at a certain point. Just, you got a pipe club and it's near me, I'll go visit, go down to Morley in Philadelphia. Unfortunately, I never made it up to Boston for Sherlock Holmes. I really kicking myself for that. So then after my time in New York, I got a job in San Diego, and there's a great club down there, San Diego Pipe Club. I think typically Bud is part of your guys. But that group of guys, they get 30 people every Sunday showing up. So wow. Just an incredible pipe club. and a great shop. And so, I mean, and then I moved away from San Diego this year in April to San Jose, and trying to get a little bit of a scene started there. People are spread out in the Bay Area in a big way. There are pipe smokers out here, but it's hard to find a shop and B to collect everybody at the same time. So we've been kind of meeting at the shop Ohlone in Fremont, and that's been going pretty well. But yeah, I know that there's a scene up in Telfords and the like, but that's pipe smoker origin story is what got me into smoking pipes seriously. Was the vintage, as well as once I started hanging out at pipe clubs, I realized that this was a community I wanted to be a part of. And now I've taken it sort of to the nth degree by being president of the United Pipe Clubs of America. All right.
Yeah, you know, it sounds like I think it sounds very fitting for you after describing your entry or your journey deep into the rabbit hole of pipe smoking as collecting pipe clubs. You just fit with the UPCA. I love that description.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, any chance I'm if I'm traveling and there's a shop that maybe has a scene, I love stopping in. You know, obviously I was just doing some research at Northwestern last week, and I had to stop in at Arlington, so glad I did. So you know, that's definitely a big part of all my travel. You know, passing through, I was in Mesa, Arizona, visiting my grandmother last Thanksgiving, and the Arizona Pipe Club had a meeting, and I got to join them. And yeah, it's always a wonderful experience, right? So I really appreciate the great universality that is the Pipe Club.
Do you know would you know how many states have pipe clubs?
Well, we have from the UPCA. Okay, so this is a good segue into talking about the UPCA. So we're an umbrella organization. We exist to sort of facilitate and promote people starting or keeping pipe clubs. And at the moment, we have approaching 30 member clubs, and it's really spread across the United States. So, you know, a couple in the state of Washington, which if they can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
A couple in the state of California, Vegas Pipe Club, which is kind of up and going, Arizona Pipe Club, Texas, St. Louis, Kansas City, Michigan, couple there, NASPC in Columbus, New York City, folks down in Georgia. So it's it's coast to coast, you know, Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we go from coast to coast.
Yeah, I was looking on a website. It looks like you can see all of the clubs that are part of the UPCA, and that was pretty cool. Chicago's in there too. I don't know if you said that, but
yes, of course, Chicago's a big presence, and in the UPCA. So yeah, we I think, you know, I'm really touched when I see that it's coast to coast. A lot of these clubs too have really deep histories, you know, and that's also really great that clubs can exist in some form or another. Will have, you know, existed in such a way that leadership has gone down and there's sort of inheritance and so we like to support our new clubs and our established clubs, and I think right now is this really great moment in pipe clubs in general. I mean, here we are on the virtual pipe club, which is this wonderful adaptation in the 21st century of what it means to be in a pipe club. Right? Can you imagine, you know, going back to some of these clubs' origins, you know, going back 30, 40 years maybe, if you were to sort of time machine them into this moment, they would just be, I mean, there's no way. There was no science fiction writer who saw this happening, that people would get together on the internet and smoke pipes.
Yeah.
And it's really great. And I'm happy to see that. But, you know, right now we had this moment where I think a lot of people picked up the hobby as maybe a passing fancy during their pandemic time, and couple that with now that we're getting out and being more social, I think you see where this equation is going, right? So it's people started learning how to smoke a pipe. Now they want to be social. Pipe club. And so I think we're figuring out ways to let people know that the barrier to entry to starting a pipe club is just not that high. It's find a place, find a time, get together, smoke a pipe, you have a pipe club. And so I think it's such a great part of the culture. To me, it's my favorite part of pipe culture. I do love, I'm only now getting into nicer pipes as my collection. Always been a little bit more of a tobacco guy, but pipe clubs definitely facilitate that, because when I go to pipe clubs, I'm usually smoking your tobacco. That is usually my prerogative. But, I always say my favorite tobacco is the next one. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. But that's cool, because it gives you an opportunity to really connect with all of these clubs in a different, in a very specific way. Especially because so many clubs have so many. There's little clubs, like you said, and big clubs, and so many of them have a variety of things to offer, including fun blends or a member who makes pipes for the club or whatever. And so it's cool to be able to connect with a club in that specific way, especially as the UPCA president.
Right. And, a lot of people are maybe a little too modest in them and their friends that get together and smoke pipes, and they don't want to maybe put we're an official pipe club label on, because they think that there really has to be more to it, right? There has to be making your own blends, making your own pipes, and all of these other things. And, you can do that. And I'm so happy when clubs do, but it can really just be as simple as we get together regularly and smoke a pipe.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So, I know that, obviously we know what Chicago Pipe Club does for the community and putting on the Chicago show and everything. And that's huge. I wouldn't ask a new club. I wouldn't use that as an example of, okay, well, once you're starting a new club, you can eventually put on one of the largest shows in the world for this, and that would be really daunting, right? So,
right.
But yeah, I look at a club like San Diego, right? I was part of that club for a couple of years, so I know the ins and outs a little well. But they are doing things like they're going to breweries and smoking pipes, and they have a lot of people come through that shop. It's usually an easy sell because it's San Diego, especially this time of year. But you can be as active or as inactive as you want in a pipe club.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long have you been the president of the UPCA?
So I became president in October of 2021.
Okay.
The organization goes back 20 years. So it was started by Vernon Vig, who had a connection with the international equivalent, CIPC, and wanted that presence within the United States as well. So he got UPCA going, and he was president for a while. You had Doc Gar as president, Tom Wolfe as president, and then Tom decided he had done it long enough, and they were trying to find a young guy to maybe take over, and I guess I fit the bill for a lot of people, so I was approached with becoming president last summer, and it was an interesting time to take over, because summer 2021 you had this question of, would a lot of these places who they were established pipe clubs, but would they ever be able to meet again, right? Would they down all this, and a lot of them hadn't really been coming together and meeting. Some of them still really haven't come back after opened up, which is sad to see. But our big thing that we do every year is we put on the slow smoke competition at the Chicago show, and that was a big question mark when I became president, if it was going to happen, blah blah blah. And we got the green light in February, and we're able to put on the slow smoke, turn around and put on a slow smoke in May of that same year, which putting on slow smoke, you have to get pipes, you have to get tobacco, you have to, I was really, really happy. Tim Garrity's in on this call too. He's the UPCA treasurer. He is the necessary pain in the ass of the, which, if you guys know Tim, he is really good at that. Somebody said, Tim, can you please be a pain in the ass? And he's like, I am 2 steps ahead of you. So
Tim is the necessary pain in the ass for Arlington as well, and we love him. We need him. We need him here.
yeah, absolutely. So, he made sure that we were successful financially for the slow smoke competition. Not only were we able to turn around and put on a really successful slow smoke at Chicago, but we were able to send the winner of the slow smoke competition to the international competition in Istanbul.
That's awesome.
So we paid for his flight, a couple nights in the hotel, his entry in the competition. He had a good showing. He finished 11th in the competition. So, USA. And
That's awesome.
we look forward to more of that in the future. One little weird caveat to that, even though he was an American participant in the international competition, you have to be a member of like a host nation, right? You have to be part of a nation team. And so even though he was an American participant, he was Team Britain. And so, we're hoping that for future competitions, we can assemble enough of an interest in people in the slow smoke such that they want to go participate internationally. And we can have a true Team USA participating in the international level. So the familiarity with the slow smoke. Sometimes when I'm talking to pipe clubs or pipe smokers, it's got like a half and half between people who are familiar with it, people who aren't.
Please, we'd love go into depth about what's a slow smoke, how does it work, where do they happen?
Right.
Go ahead.
So slow smoke is it's in the name. It's a competition to see who can smoke the slowest. So the idea is you would sort of standardize the pipe, so everybody who enters gets the same pipe, same dimension, same shape, same maker. And then you pick a tobacco, and everybody gets exactly 3.0 grams of the tobacco. And then you have very formal times when you can load your pipe, and you are given 2 matches, and 2 matches only. And there are very specific times at which you can use those matches with, you have your charring light, and then within the first 5 minutes, you can use your second match, and then the clock starts. Right? So once you've had your clock starts, and then it's how long can you go? And when your pipe is out, you announce yourself as being out, and then whoever lasts the longest wins. There's some, other finer rules, like you don't have just any old tamper, you use a dowel, and you have to tamp with the pipe in your mouth, and details like that. But it's I had been in a slow smoke at the K Woody show that happens every year. And it was a nice casual event, and had fun. I think I placed pretty well. I placed like 8th or something in my first one. And I didn't realize that it was taken quite seriously by certain groups in the community. So there's a lot of people practice for the slow smoke, warm up for the slow smoke. It is like their Super Bowl. And so putting it on in Chicago last year was a real lesson in, wow, this is a big draw. This is a big aspect of maybe kind of a lesser known one in America as far as an aspect of the pipe community, but especially in Europe, it is a big deal. I have to let my dog out of the room. He's bothering me. Just one second.
No, that's okay. No problem.
While we're waiting for Kyle, I just want to show this is one of the competition pipes from the K Woody. It's it was K Woody Christmas event, so all of them have that Christmas tree stamp on the bottom. This is tamper. We all use, everybody gets identical pipe, identical tamper. 5 minutes to pack the pipe, 1 minute to light with the 2 matches, and then don't use anything except tamper.
Yeah,
I have a question. I probably saw you at the K Woody event. I've gone to it for years and years. The rule about the tamper, you can only tamp with the pipe in your mouth.
Right.
Do we know why that is a rule?
So that is a question that comes up again and again. And I think that there's a certain strategy where you can sort of push the ember around and gain some sort of strategic advantage, potentially by doing that. But I think I don't know. for these folks who I think you have to be really deep into knowing how to slow smoke in order to effectively do that. But I think it's just another way of standardization, right? You just have this other method to ensure that you're doing nothing more than sort of controlling your breathing and everything. But yeah, that is the question that everybody always, because I know that when I'm at home, I never do that, right? I never tamp with the pipe still in my mouth, and I look at it. And so, yeah, that's kind of one of the toughest things as you're putting on the competition. You have to scold people and tell them, no, you don't do that. And it's like the one habit that's the most ingrained with them is wanting to tamp with it out of their mouth. So.
I guess you could kind of like blow on it too if you had it out or whatever, but
yeah,
something like that. But
the record for international competition is 3 hours and 33 minutes.
Wow.
Holy moly.
And
Wow.
that guy, Italian guy, he's not even
is it also not a rule that you can't breathe back?
What was that again? I didn't. Dave, I think you had the question about breathing?
Oh yeah, you can't breathe back through the pipe either. Is that not a rule?
Yeah,
right.
That it is.
Yeah. So.
Ooh.
That one's maybe a little bit harder to catch people because you do have judges sitting at every table watching people, ensuring that they're following the rules. But that one might be a little harder to catch. I mean, I don't know. I would. I would also hate to be disqualified for that. But yeah, so 3 hours, 33 minutes, which is a tough thing if you are either a spectator or you're out early, hanging around for all of that. So the winner at Chicago was an hour 20, or I think it was an hour 11, I think was his time.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think Duck Gar at K Woody has gone like for an hour and 25 minutes or something like that. He's won it a bunch of times. And I think one time, I remember one year sitting there after everybody was done, he was still going for the record. So he's quite good at it.
Yeah,
that's why you bring something like this along.
Yeah, I think 2018, Nathan Davis was going like for another hour after everybody finished. Then he
that particular K Woody, the one where Dimitri showed the pipe. Nathan Davis of Grey Woody won the competition, and he was easily half hour post when the last person was finished, and we kind of convinced him to stop. So his time is like his final time is like with an asterisk because he kind of just wanted. Because I think we did it. Did we do it before? We did it after dinner, right? I think it was after dinner anyway. So.
Yeah.
but also, if anybody's gone to that event, it's a small, smoky room, and so sort of being in a situation where you can't get up and get maybe a breath of fresh air. It's kind of sitting there waiting for the guy to slow smoke, to finish. It can be a little rough.
Yeah, but the K Woody event, it's actually second largest slow smoking competition in the United States.
That's right. Chicago. Yeah, I think, there was 40 some odd, I think, the years that I went, the past couple ones. And then here at Chicago, we capped it at 50, mainly because some of the logistics things, getting enough pipes made, and also just we weren't sure how many people were going to show up and all of that. But it's our intention to expand it going forward. So we'd like to see 75 or so people the next national competition. This is all a lot of other logistical decisions. But if you guys want to be a part of that in any way, this is where I can advertise that UPCA is having a general member Zoom next month. So the second Sunday in December. And if you guys are, I could probably find a way to make sure that the virtual pipe club can get the Zoom link, because we're kind of, it's interesting. We don't want to make it truly open in the same way the virtual pipe club is, because we are a club of member clubs. So we don't necessarily represent individual clubs, but we would like to get a lot of feedback from people. We're at this eager moment right now about, okay, we can rethink the pipe club if we want, right? Emerging from the pandemic and adapting in the ways that we have. What does it mean to be a pipe club in 2022? Well, we have people who are part of clubs in this group that meet face to face. And that's well and good, but obviously we're part of a pipe club right now that meets virtually. And looking at the array of people who are here from places they are, I mean, I can't think of a better way to meet. And other than the fact that I cannot smoke your guys' tobacco, that kills me. It's the only thing I'm missing right now.
So you said
just
that's December.
Make a dues portion, and everybody has to send in their weekly tribute to Kyle.
Oh, yeah. Right. We do. So we are a dues collecting organization. I should mention that. So we have different dues depending on the size of your club, and the member benefits. We're definitely looking at expanding, but you get sort of first access to the pipes for slow smoke competition, both before and after the competition. You get discounts on entering the competition. We pay for fees if you have regional competition. So if you have a pipe club and you wanted to do a slow smoke, if you were a member club, we could help pay for your trophy. So there's little aspects like that. But also just there for the general advice of, okay, I want to start a club, or I'm looking for advice on making my club interesting. That's what we provide as well.
Do you have to be a part of a club to join the UPCA?
So at the moment, the answer is no. We do have individual memberships, but that is a topic that I think we're going to do away with that, because it's seemingly counterintuitive to our mission statement, right? So we're a umbrella organization for pipe clubs, and to be an individual member of a pipe club umbrella organization maybe seems a little strange. We're trying to figure out creative ways to ensure that we don't isolate people. I mean, we all understand that a lot of places to smoke a pipe are few and far between, and oftentimes you also have a hard time meeting another pipe smoker in your immediate vicinity, right? So how do you say, I live in a small town, maybe the nearest brick and mortar is an hour and a half away from me, and I don't know anybody who smokes pipe, but I want to be a member of a pipe club. So, what comes to mind is exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And so absolutely. There might be a creative way to fold in organizations like the Virtual Pipe Club, and that allows people just sort of a general membership. There's also right now a member club. We have NASPC out of Columbus, which individuals can just join and pay their annual due to NASPC, which I think is $20 some odd. You get the wonderful Pipe Collector magazine, and by default, you would become a member of UPCA.
Oh, that's cool. Well, for anybody who's interested in taking this idea of joining the UPCA to their club, I went ahead and put in our chat the link to the membership page on the UPCA's website. So that's in our group chat there.
Yeah, we'd love to have this situation come about where you have various regional slow smoke competitions around the country that feed into the national championship at Chicago. And so
that would be cool.
That idea already works in places like Seattle. Seattle has a long-standing, they do a slow smoke for their clubs, and then they send the winner to Chicago. Well, they pay for entry. They don't send them. They pay for his entry into the contest. If you can get it to where it's UPCA sanctioned, which that just means that you're following specifically our rules and the like, then we would pay for your admission into the contest at Chicago. So yes, if you win a UPCA sanctioned regional slow smoke competition, you get free entry into the national contest.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. And you guys also did this year, you guys changed it up a little bit and did the quick smoking competition too, right?
Oh yes, the fast smoke. Yes.
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about fast smoke?
Capital Land show, yeah.
Yeah, right. So fast smoke competition is the exact opposite of the slow smoke intentionally, right? So you take You take a pipe, usually a corn cob or a clay, right? We wouldn't want to do this to our precious briars. And kind of a similar idea. You pack it. You have a set time to pack, a set time to light. Don't have the same rules about the matches. You can use any fire source you want. You just cannot apply it constantly. That's one of the rules. And you see how quickly you can finish your pipe. If the pipe, or you think you're done, you actually have to pour out the remnants of your bowl onto a piece of paper, and a judge will determine if you have smoked everything smokable. And if you haven't, you have to put it back in the pipe.
Oh.
Right.
And do you lose time, or is that just the time?
Oh yeah, the
lost?
clock's going. The clock's going. Right. So
clock's going.
Cobs this year provided by Missouri Meerschaum. We chose a blend high end Perique provided by Mark Ryan. And
man, that's mean.
That was mean. That was mean. And the winner came in at 6.5 minutes.
Wow. And how much tobacco was it?
It is still the 3 grams.
The 3 grams? Wow.
Yeah.
Do they have paramedics standing by and for like tongue bite or anything else that might go bad?
Yeah. So next year we're thinking of giving everybody their pipe and tobacco in a little barf bag, like an airplane barf bag. Thankfully, we didn't have any need for it this year. Thankfully, there were a few people who you were watching them change color a little bit. One guy melted the tenon on his corn cob, sealed it shut, had to pull it out and use his tamper, because we don't have the same tamper rules. You can use whatever tamper you want. He used the sort of the poker from the check tool to ram open the tenon on the cob, put it back in, and finish smoking. He came in second.
Wow.
So it was quite the little circus sideshow. We're thinking we probably are going to move it if we can get the time slot. We'd like to have it late Saturday night. Kind of, we feel like maybe people have had some drinks. They're not so worried about wrecking their palate for the Chicago weekend, and it can become like a little sideshow attraction. And so that's when we're thinking about doing the fast smoke, because we had 6 or 7 participants this year, which was way more than we thought we were going to get. And it definitely drew a crowd. Where we were in the tent had a nice little following behind us, and it was fun. I will never be a participant myself. I think I can always claim that I have to help run it, that sort of thing. I have a lot of creative excuses for getting out of this.
I'm sorry, you cut out for just a touch. Did you say how if you guys were going to do it again?
Yeah, it's our intention. We want to do it maybe late night on Saturday night if we can work that kind of, we feel more drinks people have, the more likely they are to participate.
The award needs to have a small coal train mounted to it.
There we go.
One of the little model trains.
There we go. I like it.
Is there honorable mention if you manage to burn the shank right off of your cob?
So,
you
didn't finish your tobacco, but you smoked it so fast that the bowl fell off.
Yeah, that unfortunately is a disqualification. You can't if you perfectly destroy the pipe, you're disqualified.
No bonus.
You have to have some skill
for fire.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, can you I was wanted to touch real quick a little bit more on the UPCA's leadership. I am unfamiliar with, besides you and Tim, with the faces of the UPCA. And then maybe after that, we can open up for questions if anybody has any questions for you.
Right. So the other members of the board, the executive board, are the vice president, Nathan Davis of Gray Woody, and secretary is Andre Tessier.
Okay.
Of New York and Long Island. And then we have sort of a steering committee of sorts, and that's made up of any representatives from our member clubs, presidents, Maritime, and the like. And so in principle, if you are in a member club and you want to be more involved in UPCA, you can be one of the selected representatives and join us for a steering committee meeting. So we meet in monthly cycles via Zoom. So we have 1 month that's an executive only meeting, another month it's a steering committee meeting, and then the third month is a general meeting for any of the any persons within member clubs who want to join. So those are held every second Sunday of the month. So this upcoming second Sunday of December, that's the general meeting open to all people who are affiliated with UPCA member clubs, and then we'll go back on the 3-month cycle.
And how do people get in these meetings without, like, as either clubs? Do clubs have these Zoom links, or is this something they can find on your website?
Right. So we have an email list that's sent out to the designated club representative, right? So if your club is a UPCA member club, find out who your designated representative is. It's also on the website. The contacts for each club are on the website. And so you can find out who's getting the UPCA emails within your club, and they will have all the information.
Awesome. That's awesome. So that sounds, can you talk a little bit more real quick before I open it up? I wanted to hear a little bit more. You mentioned, you said the steering committee meeting. What are those meetings like?
So, we have, right now we're big on ideas, right? So we, besides putting on the slow smoke, we are eager for new thoughts and suggestions on how the UPCA can be more active in the community. And so whether or not that is simple, like providing resources for people starting clubs, I've heard from several people lately about maybe taking it in a much bigger direction, and that is to sort of become a little bit more politically active in fighting for pipe clubs to have their spaces and access to tobaccos and all of that. I know that, traditionally people within the UPCA and just kind of, I think a lot of pipe smokers in general, maybe we're a little bit on the gentler side. We are known to be, more thoughtful, more deliberate, and also I know from my time in pipe clubs, politics may come up, but I think I've been amazed at how well we usually avoid that sort of thing naturally. But it's kind of a very real moment right now that if we don't at least make ourselves known to our elected officials, then we're easy prey to target, right? So it'd be, if no one's fighting, they don't have any problem passing aromatic tobacco bans, tobacco shipment bans, closing down brick and mortars, raising taxes. And there's kind of just a thought that an organization that represents people in pipe clubs may be the right people to say, hey, we exist. This is what we stand for. This is what we're like. And there's no reason why you should take this away from us. And
yeah, I love that. I think that's super important. And I really think that that's a good direction that the UPCA can head, because a lot of these clubs are small. And if you have this connection, nationally and even internationally, just with knowing other, clubs throughout the world, then there's that community, that joinness that we can, come together. And like you said, we can make ourselves known to our elected, representatives.
Right. Yeah, I think the pipe tobacco community has traditionally just kind of fallen under the representation of the cigar community, premium cigar community.
Mm-hmm.
And the premium cigar community has made it known in more ways than one that they view us as small potatoes. I mean, they went ahead and changed their name to cut us out entirely. So I know that there are people on the PCA who have pipe tobacco in mind, but it would be, those folks are mostly in the industry, from my knowledge.
Yeah.
And while industry representation is great, I mean, we as hobbyists need for the industry to be strong. There's also this component of the consumers, the hobbyists, they need to be represented as well.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up for anybody. Does anybody have any questions or comments or thoughts or anything that you'd like to ask Kyle?
I just want to say, Vernon Vig actually was at Barclay Rex 2 days ago when Eric Stuckaby was there, and he came to our last pipe club last Tuesday, so he's doing pretty well now.
Yeah, I was excited to see that. It was good to see him out and about.
Yeah, he's doing well. And also, 2 days ago at Barclay Rex, I was actually teaching few people how to smoke the pipe. One of them, Barclay Rex employee, and another gentleman from Boston. And I told him about Sherlock Holmes Pipe Club. So Tim, you might see him. His name is Victor. So he bought a corncob pipe. I was telling him how to smoke the pipe, and he seemed to be enjoying it. And I told him about Boston.
Oh, thank you, Dimitri. We would very much like to have him or any new members of the club. And you know, that kind of made me a little bit of a segue into a question I had for Kyle, which was, Kyle, do you have a sense of like what makes a good pipe club, or what a pipe club can do to kind of keep the membership going? Because you know, people come and go all the time, and
right,
something I think, you know, clubs really have to work at to maintain a membership.
Right. So one of the things that I've noticed is it may seem a little counterintuitive, but meet more often, right? So if you give people more opportunities to attend a meeting, then they'll do it. So I know a lot of clubs like to go on the monthly format. But let's say something came up 2 months in a row and I couldn't make the meeting. Now I haven't been in Pipe Club for 3 months, right? And it's just a little easy to kind of phase it out of your life. But if you have, say, weekly meetings twice a week, because I know, like, I'm dealing with this right now. A good friend of mine started the Las Vegas Pipe Club, and he works in the service industry, and his schedule is week to week, and his hours are all over the place. And so it's about him trying to find a time that works for everybody, because a lot of the other people also in the Las Vegas Pipe Club are in the service industry, and their schedules very rarely overlap. But if you have more times, then you're bound to sort of just catch people as they come and go. And so it may seem strange that the solution is to try and have more meetings, but it just gives you a higher probability that people will attend and feel more involved if it's a weekly thing. So that's actually a big one. And having more meetings and spacing out special events, right? So special events to me is technically anything that's out of the ordinary, right? So you could have a theme night where you say, okay, tonight we're gonna smoke, like, well, for instance, with it being so close to Thanksgiving, when I meet up with my pipe club here, we are going to do a sort of a vertical tasting of Peretti's Thanksgiving, right? So I have 2020, 2021, just got the 2022. It's like, okay, we're just going to smoke these 3 Peretti's Thanksgivings and just see how the cellaring has affected them, right? Really simple, right? It's not this big stage production. I have all those 3 tobaccos just sitting on my shelf, but it's a special event. So it can be something that simple, or it can be, okay, we're going to have a La DC trunk show, which they seem to be doing a lot more of those right now. So, you know, find a way to get in touch with your La DC rep to have Peterson and Savinelli there. So those are really straightforward, and those are, you know, buying forward events, but everybody always likes to look at pipes. If you can find something like a brewery or a distillery in your area that is okay with having an event there, just little, I mean, there's seemingly, for certain people, it would seem daunting. Like, they don't want to go through and organize these things. But sometimes, you know, maybe you go to that brewery weekly as is and just ask them one day, hey, like, you got a back patio, can my pipe club meet here or something? You know, these are, of course, are all different depending on where you live, and that's what makes it a little difficult, is smoking restrictions are almost different for every place. But, you know, you can find a way to make the pipe club feel specific to your neck of the woods, right?
That's really helpful to hear that. We try to do little things like that, like every month. You know, we meet monthly. It's hard to meet more than that, but I agree. Maybe meeting more would help. But you know, we have like you know, mystery tobacco of the month, where someone brings a tobacco and we all smoke it and we try to guess what it is. And we have our, you know, annual Christmas party. And but we're always looking for other ways to kind of bring in members and just keep it, you know, keep the pipe club going. We also have a pipe club, a pipe of the year. We have a maker make a pipe for us. So we try to do those things. But I like some of those other ideas about, you know, going out someplace to a brewery or something like that.
Right.
Kind of
I
put
mean,
a little bit of twist on things.
Yeah, just one of the things I did in Brooklyn was we organized a lunt, where we did like a pub crawl lunt. And, that was and actually that does two things. One, you know, it's a separate event that's a lot of fun, but it also is just your walking advertisement for your club, literally.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Plus, that's kind of a way around if you're in a state or a province or country where smoking at the establishment is out. So, you know, you could have your smoke together while you're on your lunch to the next place, and then so that's a good idea. I like that for here smoking any public establishments.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Yeah, so smoke between them, you know. So you have your pipe on the way, you have a beer while you're there, you load up the next bowl, and you go on your way.
Could I add a suggestion for Tim's question?
Sure.
No, I don't know what the demographic you're dealing with there, Tim, but maybe if you added something like the VPC kind of flavor to your pipe club with a Facebook group where there's an open room where people can join on Messenger at any time of the day, you know, just through a message on Messenger and say, hey, I'm having a smoke. Is anybody around? And then some of the club members who happen to be available can stop in and have a smoke. We have this in one of my pipe clubs on another virtual pipe club, but where it's always open. So somebody can, it's just a come and go smoke shack kind of thing. And, you know, sometimes during the midweek, we'll have 10 or 15 guys all show up, and then it's like another whole meeting takes place, and sometimes carries on till 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, so.
That is a really good idea, Dave, and thank you for that. You know, it's interesting because when we were really into the pandemic, we did meet, you know, like this, like virtually until we can get back together in person. And it was pretty good. We had, you know, a decent turnout, but I like that idea of in between meetings of, you know, we have a Facebook group, and you know, gee, maybe that would be a nice addition to like, okay, some night just informally getting together, you know, that would be cool.
It's almost like a town hall.
Yeah.
But not only do you just you keep the ties tighter amongst the regular people in the group, but you also open up the opportunity for people that may not be ever available on that second Saturday. Maybe somebody's in your club, but they work on Saturdays every week for their whole life, and they never can actually attend. But this opens up the opportunity for them to actually, you know, commune and join in the fellowship of the club. So, you know, and I'm not trying to steer these clubs away from actually meeting in person, but it's like a augmentation to the actual physical meeting.
It's a good addition to in-person meetings. Yes.
Right. I think at a certain point, we're all going to crave that coming together. There's only so long you can sort of do this before you say, let's get together.
It's an alternative.
Yeah,
right.
A good alternative.
It's like a supplement to what to the main meeting, which I think is a really good idea, Dave. I do. I like that idea a lot. Thank you.
So another thing that I would encourage to any pipe club is to make sure you have a really good relationship with your local brick and mortar. Right. So if you're fortunate enough to have that, or maybe you meet at your brick and mortar, having a good relationship with them could also help with what to do with your pipe club, because your brick and mortar may be excited to share the new tobacco that they just got in, or might be interested in developing tobacco blends alongside the pipe club, and these various things, you know, within the brick and mortar aspect of it. Not only that, but we all know we've all had brick and mortars that we feel like are a second home to us. So if we can keep that going, that will encourage people to want to join the club because it comes with this extra special.
Yeah, Kyle, just as you know, New York Pipe Club has that kind of relationship with the Berkeley Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, I just finished creating new blend for Berkeley Rex. It's
Okay.
not released yet, so probably sometime around Christmas it will be released.
Oh.
Joanna and I both tried it, both liked it, and actually Eric Stockaby tried it and liked it.
Okay.
So his approval.
Yeah, I mean something. So there are two demographics right now that really smoke a pipe. There are people over 60, and there's this rising under 35 demographic. And so there's a way to tailor typical club meetings, especially if you have them more often, that really, I think, target both of those groups. In my experience, for the folks who, the older members of the pipe community are quite content with the club meetings where we get together and we smoke a pipe and we talk about life. And I love those meetings. Those are wonderful. Wouldn't trade them for the world. But then the under 35 demographic, they would like to couple that with more unique experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they kind of want both. And so just with that in mind, this is give you some key into how to tailor a club that sustains membership, but also recruits new people.
Well, can you hear me okay, Kyle?
I can hear you now.
Okay. What kind of activities are you seeing groups in that under 35 kind of really be attracted to at a club meeting or event?
So a lot of the folks, the younger folks in the community are really into sort of the aspect of this artisanal tobacco, right?
Mm.
And so these ways to do a lot of pairings, beer pairings, whiskey pairings. I think Furniture City just had a chili night, right? And these seem to be big hits. And so I think a lot of these events that focus on flavor are a big hit for the younger demographic.
I'm curious if you think the younger demographic, probably not, but I'm curious if you think that, just from what you've seen in different clubs throughout the country, if you think the younger demographic likes to go farther down the rabbit hole of what it is to be a pipe smoker and into the pipe than the older generation. Do you see that?
I have never met a 30-year-old who said, I only smoke this tobacco. Right. So it's just kind of the nature of the beast. I think it's for a lot of the other experiences that we've had in our generation, where it's about seeking out the new experience. That's sometimes bad. I remember I was speaking to a shop owner down in Arizona, and he viewed that as exhausting, having to keep up with the younger generation. You know, it's like, okay, well, I'd like to be able to order months in advance, but I have to sort of follow and chase the taste profiles of what's hot at the moment. And he found that exhausting. And that's an excellent counterpoint to this sort of overwhelming philosophy, right? You need both. You need the sort of people who know what they like and are going to pursue that, and then you need to add the spice that's the new and the exciting. I think also just from a generational perspective, generalizing here, a lot of the younger folks just haven't got into nice pipes yet, right? There's kind of like a price point argument there.
Sure.
I fit this bill entirely. I was exclusively cheaper estate pipes for a very long time. And then at a certain point started adding a few more nicer pipes into my collection. And now it's definitely skewing that way. And so I think that if you were trying to sell the younger generation on, well, you know, you got to get your birth year Dunhill right away. You know,
right.
I don't know if that's where to start them. But if you're like, hey, you can try this excellent vapor, and guess what? You know, you can get it for $20 behind me. Like, that is a much better entry point into getting somebody into the hobby. But I know that these are I think I'm kind of preaching to the choir a little bit. I know all of us, I'm sure, have been very good stewards to the pipe community, and we know that when we see a new potential pipe smoker, we're not upselling them on, well, you're not smoking anything unless you're smoking a Sheridan, but we know the ways to get people in, and getting people in is half the battle. Convincing them to join a pipe club is another.
Yeah.
I was very nervous before I went to the first New York City Pipe Club meeting on International Pipe Smoking Day, because until that time in my life, I had pretty much smoked entirely by myself. And this huge feeling of, I've been doing it wrong, I know it, right? And so now I'm going to put myself into the experts. And then you walk into that room and there's a lot of wisdom and experience in that room. But all it took was that sort of first person to come and talk to me, and then generally show interest in the pipe I had and what I was smoking, and it just melts away.
Yeah, I've seen that in people's faces when they come into the shop, especially younger people, and you finally get them to a pipe club, and they come in and they look a little like, oh, I don't know anybody here, and then I usually sick Tim on them or somebody. go see that person.
It's always two-way street. Even a lot of experienced pipe smokers always learn something new from the newbie who comes to the club first time, because maybe he has some interest in pipe we never saw before, or maybe he has some interest in tobacco, or maybe while smoking by himself, he developed interest in way to pack the pipe, which works very well. So even if you have like 20, 30 years of experience, you can learn from somebody who just started.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or you know what, we've also had young guys who come in and they're like, oh yeah, I've never smoked a pipe, but grandpa just passed or whatever, and I got his pipe, and now all of a sudden he's got this really awesome pipe, and you meet him, and oh, look at that, and you connect over that. There's all different ways to connect with them. Did anybody else have any more questions for Kyle?
Kyle, what do you like to smoke as far as your own preference for tobacco?
So I have been getting in, I love Gawith blends, pretty much anything Gawith, especially now if it's plugs or ropes, twists. If I have to cut it with a knife now, I probably.
Yeah.
What was your first, did you say, you mentioned your first pipe, smoking it, your first experience. What was your first tobacco?
Oh, I'm sure it was just one of the house blends. It was probably 1Q, knowing.
Yeah.
But at that point, I think, for me, I can almost remember the first time I really tasted it, if you will, because I was spent so much of the beginning working on the mechanics, the engineering, like how do I actually get this going, that didn't have any space to really think about what does this taste like. And so it was a long time before I could really say like, oh yeah, I'm now getting something out of tobacco. Yeah, absolutely. Do you remember what the tobacco was? So it was Rainier Gold. Oh, that's a killer. The flake, the long golden flake? Yeah. Oh, that's such a great tobacco. In the can, right? So yeah. Oh yeah, that's a great tobacco. Right. So I've been lucky, like I said, going to all these pipe clubs. I have access to tobacco that I probably would not have had access to otherwise, just because at the time I didn't know what to buy, or maybe some of the stuff was really hard to get and I didn't know to jump on it. And so I was spoiled, especially the New York City pipe club guys. They have good taste.
Yeah, especially when Martin comes in and brings something like Virginia number 10 with a Cuban cigar leaf, or some other exotic stuff.
Yeah, it was actually Dimitri is why I had Christmas Cheer for the first time. So I'm pretty sure you brought it to one of the club meetings, and you were just like, "Here's Christmas Cheer," and I was young and naive. I don't think I knew any better. I was like, "Yeah, sure, it's around Christmas time. Sure, I'll have this Christmas Cheer tobacco."
Yeah, I still have more than 90 tins of different McClelland tobaccos and few pounds of bulk McClelland, and usually I open tins at the club meetings so everybody can try it.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Club. That'll get people to the club meetings.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
there's
we
your
are.
next suggestion, Tim. You need to have Dimitri join your club and come.
I think that would be a good idea. Dimitri, you're welcome anytime you're in the Boston area. I would love to have you.
Thank you, Tim. By the way, 2 days ago, when I was hanging out with Eric Stockaby, I opened a tin of fourth generation 1855 Virginia, which I bought when it was just released 8 years ago, and it was back at Nat Sherman when Eric was there, and he actually signed the tin for me.
Oh, really nice.
I just opened it again with Eric.
One of my friends from the Sherlock Holmes Pipe Club was down there. His name was Tom Nizio. He just happened to be down there.
Yes, he was there. He was there. Yeah, I saw him.
Yeah, he's a great guy, real good member, real active member of our club. Does the pipe tobacco raffle every month, and a great job of it.
Yeah, it was good to see him again. I saw him in Albany as well.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that happened.
Well, we got about 15 minutes left. So with that time, we're going to transition a little bit here. But I did want to say thank you so much, Kyle, for if nobody else has any other questions. I really appreciate you coming on today. That really.
I think Ramachandran, I think before we go.
Oh, go ahead, Ramachandran.
Yeah.
Ramachandran, go ahead.
Kyle, this is Ramachandran from India. And I have been a member of your United Pipe Clubs of America.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the only way to get in touch with people all over the world is only through the Zoom. I mean, I can't be coming for a physical meeting. I just wanted to know whether you people also have this kind of the VPC kind of Zoom meetings so that everybody can participate. And one more thing I just want to check up about a month ago, there was a notification by one Tom Wolfe saying that in recent days, we have had several people who have joined, but they were subsequently suspended.
Yeah.
So I do not know what is it about, whether I'm still a member or not, I do not know.
Okay, yeah, so on the Zoom question, we, in principle, the general meeting, which we'll find a way to make sure people in this club have a link to, it would be the way. We're gonna hold that every 3 months, and so that would sort of act as the UPCA connection, online connection, and you're welcome to join, of course. So as for the post in the Facebook group, it corresponded with one of the changes that Facebook has done to its group settings, where before you were allowed to have this private group and everybody who came in, and they did away with that, or they changed it. And so our group became this public group. And, anytime you're a public group on Facebook, you're sort of prone to getting bots and spam and things like that. And so there was a little bit of time there where people were joining the UPCA Facebook group, but weren't able or didn't have to pass any screener questions. And so those people were suspended. Facebook has now even though we're still a public group, it has reinstituted the screener questions. And so now we're able to more effectively determine whether or not somebody's a bot or just looking to spam us. But if you were a member of UPCA going back, you're fine. It's only if you would have tried to join, and I think it was a couple-month window around the time that Tom posted that. So if you've been part of UPCA, the UPCA Facebook community, you're fine.
I've been a member since January 2021.
You're fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I would love if you would just plug your pluggables. Is there anything where can people find you or contact the UPCA or, social media, Facebook, where plug anything that'll get people to you guys?
Sure. Yeah. So the website is unitedpipeclubs.org. We try to be just as active on there as we are on our Facebook page, United Pipe Clubs of America. So you can find us on there. You'll have to pass some screener questions, but they're really simple. It's like, how long have you been smoking a pipe? Do you accept our terms and conditions, sort of thing? And then I'm only myself. I'm only active on Facebook. You can find me by searching my name or find me through the United Club's Facebook page. And I'd love to connect with you. And if I'm passing through your town, I will reach out. I'm notorious for that. You can ask Amu, right? I was just in the Chicagoland area.
It was such a cool surprise just to have you pop in and just be able to sit down, have a pipe, and shoot the shit on tobacco for a while. That's nice.
Right. And so we're looking for any kind of suggestions. We want to be a good umbrella organization. We want to be here for the pipe clubs. And any way that we can be more of service to the pipe club community, we're all ears. And other than that, I think that's all I have. Other than I want to say hi to Bud, who joined late.
Yeah, I did join late areas.
Yeah, it was good catching up with Bud at the Vegas pipe show. It had been too long.
Yeah, sorry I'm late. My laptop decided to crash today. So I'm jumping on the phone. So that was a whole adventure too.
Yeah.
Mine also did that like 10 minutes before 1 o'clock. I was, oh my gosh, this is gonna happen today, of course.
Always when you don't want it,
Always. Cool. Well, I'm gonna transition a little bit here. Thank you again, Kyle, for coming in and just chatting with us. Feel free to hang out for the next 10 minutes if you'd like, or and obviously join us whenever else you would love to. We'd love to have you back on.
Thank you.
Couple of announcements for everybody. Next 2 weeks is our next meeting, and Marty Pulvers is going to be on as our guest. That will be DDR. He will be talking with him, and he is, for those of you who don't know him, he is, and I quote, the former Vegas pipe show guy is how DDR described him. So we're really excited to have Marty on, just be chatting with him. And the next time I will be with you guys in December. We'll make sure to post this in the Facebook group, but we're gonna do a little kind of a little clean your pipe, not demonstration, but I will be bringing some of my equipment, some of my tools. We're just gonna go over kind of basic cleaning, maybe basic repairs or fixes on briar and vulcanite will be what we specifically talk about, but we also can talk about acrylic or whatever you guys want. So if you guys have any pipes that need a little bit of a clean or some material or whatever, you guys want to bring some to the next meeting, thought that would be a fun interactive way to kind of hang out with you guys the next time we're around, if that sounds interesting to everybody. If not, you can tell me so and we'll totally scratch it and start with something different. Up to you all. But I thought that would be fun to do with everybody. Yeah, I think that's all the announcements that I have. Tim or Miguel or anybody else. Did anybody else have anything you guys wanted to chat? We can hang out for another 10 or so minutes and just catch up.
Well, Amu, well done again, Amu.
It's an honor to be with you guys. I love hanging out with you guys.
Amu, you did a great job today, and we're all grateful that you filled in as host. You did a really good job.
I'm touched.
Say thanks to Kyle and Amu for joining us.
Yeah, thanks to him. He did all the talking. I just sat here and smoked.
And Amu, I promise we're not gonna talk behind your back. That's my promise. Okay.
Thank you. I need the reassurance.
One thing I just wanted to know, are we going to be meeting next week or only next week?
2 weeks is the next time that we'll meet. That's how I understood it. Look, make sure to check the Facebook page if DDR changes that up. But from when him and I spoke today, our next meeting is in 2 weeks. So that would be, I think that's the 26th. Or no, I'm sorry, that's December 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah,
it'd also be useful if you could post it on the website.
Yes, we'll post it. We'll make sure we post on the Facebook group.
On Facebook, would it be possible to have a calendar with the schedule of the meetings. It's, sometimes if it's posted there as a message and then a lot of other messages get posted after it, it's kind of hard to find.
You know what,
Just
we can
make
probably
it sticky.
we can pin it. Yeah, we can probably just pin it to the top so that before you start scrolling, it's the first thing you see. But let me get on there and play with it a little bit and see if that's a
Perfect.
great idea. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Tim, that's a
Or-
great
or
idea.
have-
Tim, that's a great idea.
Yeah, or
Tim.
we could even make a calendar and I could post the calendar and pin that or something that can be your guys's. Let me see what I can do for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, and also it will be good to put link there as well for those who don't attend meetings on a regular basis. They might lose the link, so it's always good to have it on top.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Make note of both of those things.
DDR's reasoning for waiting right till the last minute to avoid getting some of the instances like we've had when Brian Levine was here and we had like the porno session happen right at the end with a bunch of Zoom bombers came in and there was like sexual sounds and weird things going on.
Yeah,
Brian thought it was hilarious, but it was pretty.
Yeah.
What an
Zoom bomb.
episode to have that happen on, huh? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it was Brian and not somebody
That was
that's
the
like
best.
a little more appropriate or whatever. He was just like, "Oh, wow, this is the coolest meeting I've ever been to."
Virtual Pipe Club is best pipe club ever. That's so awesome.
So
That's funny. Yeah, that makes sense. I know a lot of spammers and all that kind of stuff, but I'll talk to DDR and we'll see what we can do and we'll communicate all of that with everybody. And then I'll definitely talk to Kyle too about seeing how we can get you guys the link for the general meeting for the next that's the second Sunday. That's the 11th then, right, Kyle? The second Sunday?
Yeah, the 11th. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're already a UPCA member club, then you're going to be getting an email. Just check with who you represent, who's getting those emails from your club. Make sure that you know who that person is. That person's still in your club. We hear about things like that all the time, where the representative is no longer in the club or things like that, and therefore they don't get the emails.
Oh, just sorry, Kyle. If you join, if you have a membership, is there like an email or like a flyer that comes out with any kind of news? Or
so
I should have asked that earlier.
We haven't been good about that. We've been a little bit more focused on having meetings where that would essentially happen.
Okay.
But the minutes would be shared from those meetings.
Okay.
So that would go out to the member clubs.
Cool.
But there's a blog on the website. Like I wrote a blog post. It's not updated all that regularly, but I did write a blog post after Chicago and things like that. So there's a blog.
I saw your guys' website. It looks. I was very surprised how updated it is. How you guys have blogs, news, photos, event calendar. I mean, you guys have a lot of stuff on your guys' website. It's awesome.
Look at, I mean, we're trying. There's a lot that sort of we are piecing together as the community picks back up and we get to the more regular calendar of events, as well as our actively trying to get more events going. I know that we just had a UPCA section slow smoke at the Texas Pipe Show that just happened a couple weekends ago. So we're looking at encouraging more groups and more events to have slow smoke.
Yeah, and UPCA is very good about spreading information about different pipe club meetings on the Facebook in the group. I know Mike Gar is usually on top of it. He posts all the newsletters from different pipe clubs, like pictures from different events at the pipe clubs and so on.
Yeah, we like to share what we can. If your club has a Facebook presence, we will do our best to amplify that.
Awesome. Well, with that, I just want to say thank you guys for all coming today. I appreciate you guys showing, obviously, the club, the support, showing myself and Kyle and DDR, and just coming out and hanging out with us. It's been really nice to see you guys and everything. And I decided after our last meeting, I was unhappy with the way that I ended the meeting because I didn't know how to end the meeting. So I double checked with DDR today, and he said that he usually likes to end it by reminding everybody to wash your hands and stay safe, get your flu shot, all that good stuff. So I promised him that I would end it by telling everybody to lick doorknobs and drive recklessly.
Licking for the win.
So I hope everybody has a wonderful 2 weeks. Stay away from anything that'll get you healthy. And no, I'm joking. Everybody have a great stay safe out there. All those crazy that we got flus going around like nuts and strep and all that fun stuff. So stay safe, be well with your families, have a wonderful holiday if you celebrate. And we will see you guys on December 3rd.
Thank you.
Thanks
very much. Sounds like a good plan.
Nice to see you guys.
Everybody have a good holiday, everybody. Great
Great
job.
job again, Amu. Great job.
Thank you guys. And thank you again, Kyle.
Thank you again, Amu.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.